Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Rachit Jain and I make videos about student life, tech and photography. In today's video, we're going to look over how I went from 100% battery health on my iPhone to less than 95% battery health in just 3 to 4 months and the mistakes I made. So hopefully by the end of this video, you'll know what are the mistakes you shouldn't be making so that your battery health remains as high as it can be. And yeah, I'll just talk about the mistakes I made, how I made those mistakes, and probably good practices for charging your iPhone in a way where you don't lose out on battery health every other month or something. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. So before diving into how I ruined my battery health, let's discuss what is battery health in the first place. Battery health of your iPhone, I think it's in most Android phones as well, but in the iPhone you can at least check your battery health from the settings. And the battery health is basically how much battery capacity is left in your iPhone's battery. So let's say when you get it fresh out of the box, it is at 100% capacity. That means when you charge your iPhone to 100%, it is actually getting charged to 100% and retaining that 100% battery when it is like when you take it out of charge, right? But when you start reducing your battery health over the time, let's say mine is at 95% right now. So if I charge my iPhone to 100% right now, the actual capacity of battery left in my phone will be 95%. So I might not see a quick decrease in the beginning, but there'll be a time between the 100 and the 20% where I'll see a very quick decrease, and that is because my battery only retains 95% instead of the actual 100%, which is supposed to be. And with most phones, since it's lithium-ion batteries and different kinds of batteries these days, you're going to see a degradation over the years, so you can't expect to have 100% battery even after like 5-6 years of use. But at least for the first year or year and a half, you should be at 100% easily if you use good charging practices and you don't abuse your phone's battery health in the wrong ways that I did in the past summer. I've had people and friends in my life who have had iPhone battery percentage very low, and they're always wondering why, even if they charge their phone to 100%, the battery reduces very quickly. It is basically because your battery health has reduced over the months of usage and your phone is not getting charged to an actual 100%. Now let's talk about some common charging mistakes that most people make and which actually ruins your battery health. I know the biggest misconception is that you can't charge your phone overnight because it overheats and overcharges your phone. That is not the case these days. That used to be back like 15 years, 10 years ago when phones were not that advanced. But these days the batteries have advanced features where once it's 100% charged, it automatically stops charging your phone so that it doesn't overcharge or overheat your phone. So that's the first misconception, that you should be completely out. You can easily charge your phone at night and still contain 100% battery over a year or 2 years time, and it shouldn't degrade your battery just because you're charging it overnight. The next biggest mistake I see most people making is they use power banks to charge their phone all the time. The thing with power banks is like they're not optimized with a proper adapter. They can charge your phone in emergency conditions, and that's what it is actually for emergency conditions. If you're using a power bank as a normal source of charging all the time, like let's say you just charge your power bank and you use that to charge your phone throughout the day over months of time, that will degrade your battery health a lot. And the same thing is with wireless charging. Now wireless G chargers mostly use a lot of heat and more heat compared to the actual wired ones, like the wired chargers. So if you're using wireless charger all the time and let's say you're using that in the heat, or let's say you're using wireless chargers while you're using your phone. So let's say you have a wireless MagSafe charger, right? You're using that on the back of your phone, and while you've put it on charge, you're actually using your phone. You'll notice that your phone gets heated up a lot, and that's because the wireless chargers use a higher heat capacity to charge your phone. Even though they use a higher heat capacity, they still charge at 5 watts. So some chargers do a little fast charging, but they don't do fast charging. So if you're connecting with a wire, you have an option of getting a fast charge as well as a safer charge which does not overheat your battery. The next thing I see most people doing wrong basically is they use their MacBook chargers or the best fast charger they have to charge the iPhone on a regular basis. Now your MacBook charger, let's say if you have a 15-inch or a 16-inch MacBook, should be at 96 watts or 100-watt charging rate. That is a lot of output for your phone. Your phone, even if you use a fast charger, it should be good enough for 30 watts. So if you're using a 100 or 96 watt adapter and you're using a Type-C cable to charge your phone, you're basically overheating the phone. And you'll notice that if you put your iPhone on charge with the MacBook charger, you see your phone gets heated up more frequently than it would get heated up with the normal iPhone charger. So that is because it is trying to charge it at a faster rate, and in doing so, it is first of all unsuccessful in charging at a fast rate because it can only cap out I think 28 or 30 watts. The next thing that is doing and ruining your battery is because it is overheating your phone. So overheating is basically destroying the battery's capacity to hold more charging. The next thing I see most people making mistakes with is buying cheap knockoff chargers and adapters from all these websites and stuff. I'm not saying you should buy the official Apple chargers every time you lose a charger, you break a charger, you break a cable or something, but there are proper companies that are certified by Apple and by the industry which make proper cables that do not ruin your phone's health. Some of the companies are Oki, Anker, these are the Ugreen. In fact, these are the companies that actually make cables and specialize in making cables, adapters, charging, all that equipment. So they're making it in a proper way where it doesn't ruin your battery. Let's say if you go on Amazon, you buy the cheapest cable you can buy for iPhone, let's say for like $2 or $3, and you expect that to charge your phone. It will charge your phone for sure, but it will also degrade your battery over time. Same with adapters. Let's say if you buy the cheapest adapter you can buy online, those adapters will not generate the proper output and they will kind of heat up your phone more and in turn ruin your battery health again. So if you can, stick to the official Apple adapters, the ones you used to get in the box at least, now you don't get. But if you can't get those, buy a adapter which is certified by companies that is good for usage, right? Or buy a GAN charger. I personally use the Ugreen GAN charger that charges my MacBook, iPhone, everything at once. It is a 65 watt charger, but I don't use it all the time to charge my iPhone because again, it heats up my iPhone. So I only use it if I have to charge my phone midday. Otherwise, I just use the old iPhone adapters that used to come, the 5 watt and the 20 watt for the iPad. And I just put a USB Type-C cable in that. Or something that I have been doing recently is I've bought the small charging brick from Anker. I think it's a 15 watt charging brick or 20 watt charging brick, and it is a pretty small brick. It is almost as small as the older iPhone charging bricks used to be, and it does the job. It is pretty good. It charges my phone overnight and it has had no issues whatsoever. I've never seen my phone overheat or heat up even during charge while I'm using it. So that's a good option if you want to consider it. Also, on the topic of adapters, don't charge your phone with the power strips that we have. Let's say you buy a power strip at home. It has like 5-6 plug outputs and it also has 3-4 USB outputs. Don't charge your phone on a regular basis with just those USB outputs because they're not generating the proper ampere temperature that is needed for your phone. So put a proper brick with a cable and then charge your phone instead of charging it directly from the power strip. Something else that I've seen most people do is they charge their phone only when it's at a 0%. So let's say you have been using a phone throughout the day and it goes down to almost 1% or 0% and your phone shuts down. That's when you put it on charge, and you don't put it on charge before. What happens is when you put it on charge at 0%, your phone charges at a faster rate compared to when it is, let's say, at 20 or 30%. So it is charging at a faster rate, which in turn heats up your phone. The biggest destroyer, even Apple mentions this, the biggest destroyer to your phone's battery is heat. So if you succumb your phone to a lot of heat while charging or while using it throughout the day, it will slowly degrade your battery life. And that is what causes the main problem with degradation of battery life. Over the period of time, like you start using methods which basically heat up your phone every time you charge it, or you're using your phone in direct sunlight or anything for a prolonged period of time where it is actually heating up the phone and causing your battery health to reduce. So don't charge your phone when it is at a 0%. Maybe put it on charge when it has 20 or 30% because the optimal conditions, the most optimal conditions of keeping your battery is between 20 to 80% or 50 to 80%. So let's say if you charge your phone at 20%, it goes to 80%. You can potentially remove your phone and not let it charge to 100%. But let's say even if you want to charge to 100%, what I have done on my phone at least is in the settings app, there's something called optimized battery charging. What it does, it recognizes your patterns of charging. Let's say I put my phone on charge every night when I go to sleep, right? And I wake up almost around the same time every day. So what happens is I put my phone on charge when I go to sleep. I wake up at a time. So my phone gets charged to 80%. Or to a 90% or to 100%, then it reduces the charge, stops charging, goes down to 95, 90%, or let's say 5 to 10%, there's a difference of 5 to 10% that goes down and keeps charging slowly and keeps going down. So that by the time I wake up, which it has kind of recognized the time I plug it out of the charging, by the time I wake up, like at least half an hour before that, the phone will get charged to 100%. So when I wake up, it is still charged to 100%, but it is not charging overnight. It is distributing that charge over the period of like 4 to 5 or 6 hours instead of charging it fast at like 1 or 2 hour speed. So that basically also helps improve your battery health because it is not overheating your phone when it is charging. So those were some of the mistakes that I've seen most people make, friends and family and whatsoever. But now let's talk about some of the good practices of charging your phone. First of all, please buy official chargers and official adapters, or from official companies, even if you're not buying from the original company itself, official companies that specialize in making chargers and adapters, and don't buy knockoff cables and knockoff adapters. They're going to ruin your battery health. Next, try charging your phone at the same time every day. Let's say if you're using the phone in today's time, like if you're buying one of the modern phones, The charging and the battery capacity is pretty good to last you the entire day if you're not using it like for 7-8 hours. So what I do is I charge every night and I let it charge overnight. Again, it does not ruin the battery health because I'm charging it overnight. I was using my phone for almost 8 to 9 months, and that's what I did. I charged it overnight once and I never saw a degradation of even 1%. It was still at 100%. It was just during this past 3.5 months of summer where I actually saw the degradation because I was not using those practices, and all the things that I've mentioned, the wrong things. I was basically doing almost all of that because I was in a different condition and I didn't really get time to fix up my schedule for that. So I was using all the wrong practices, and then I saw a decrease of 5% in just 3.5 months. And before that, for the past 8 months, I had 100% battery capacity. So use official cables and charge it at a proper time, and try to use it at a fixed time with keeping optimized battery charging on. The next point is using power banks and wireless charging and all that stuff only in emergency conditions if you have to. Let's say you're outside, your battery is dying and you need to charge your phone, use your power bank. Don't worry about battery health at that time. But let's say if you're charging your phone on the regular, don't charge it with a power bank or a wireless charger. Try charging it with a wired charger. And let's say if you're out and about and let's say you have to, because even I carry a wireless power bank with me all the time, because let's say if I'm out and about and I need a battery, like an extra juice of battery, then it helps me. And in that condition, I don't worry about the battery health. I care more about getting the battery so that I have my phone on and I can get back home and stuff. But let's say if I'm at home, I'm charging my phone on the regular, I don't use that to charge my phone. I just use the normal cable charger with the proper adapter plugged in so that it charges properly and it retains the battery health. And the last thing that you need to do is try to keep your phone away from high heat conditions. Let's say if you're cooking in the kitchen, right? Don't keep your phone right next to the stove. It's going to generate a lot of heat and that's going to destroy your battery. You stay out in the sun, or like you stay outside, your work requires you to stay outside throughout the day, travel from one place to the other, and it's pretty hot in the area you live in. Try not to use your phone in direct sunlight. If you have to use, maybe find a shade or something, or for prolonged periods at least. Like if you have to use for a quick thing, that's okay. But if you're using your phone for prolonged periods, always in the sun, that's going to destroy your battery health again. So try using in a shade or something, or maybe try using your phone indoors if you can. Outdoors, it's okay. Use it if you want to use it. Like it's not a compulsion that you can't use it. The phones are good and designed to be used outside. But again, if you're in direct sunlight and you're using there for prolonged periods of time, let's say you're recording 4K videos or 8K videos with a phone in direct sunlight for hours, that's going to heat up your phone and you can actually feel the phone getting heated up. And if you keep doing that over the months and like you keep practicing that again and again, that's going to reduce your battery health. If you do it once or twice, it's not going to drop down your battery health. But if you keep doing it for months at a time, the same practices with keeping it exposed to sun a lot of time, that's going to reduce your battery health. Now let's come to the things I did in my past summer that completely ruined my battery health. Basically, I've mentioned all of them in the video in some point, but I kept it in the sun for prolonged periods of time. I was using it in the sun all the time. I was taking videos and photos in the sun. I took a trip to Dubai for a week, and Dubai was pretty hot at that time, right? It was end of May or something. It was pretty hot and I kept my phone outside the entire time, shooting videos almost the entire day. I almost had over 40 to 50 gigabytes, 60 gigabytes of video and photo storage just from that 1 week trip, and it was all because I was shooting outside in the sun again every day. Even when I was back at home, I was shooting a lot of photos and videos with my phone outside in the sun, keeping it in heat conditions. I was charging at irregular times. There was no proper time of charging. I was charging with the fastest charger because I just took one charging break back home and I was using that to charge my phone as fast as possible using different kinds of outputs. So that kind of ruined my battery health a lot. Again, I've mentioned all the points in the wrongdoings of charging. Those are most of the things that I kind of did. And now I've switched back to doing the good things. So I've seen that my battery health in the past month and a half hasn't reduced at all. It has stayed the same. So again, like in 3 months, if I reduced 5%, that was a big shock. Even my mom's phone, I think it's at an 87%. When I gave it to her, it was at a 99%. And in the past year, it has dropped down to 87 because she uses the phone in the kitchen where it's high heat. She charges with different cables and stuff. Not to bash on you, mom, but again, those are the practices that I've noticed with family members and friends that I think are reducing their battery health, and I want to convey to you, in case you're doing any of those things, to stop doing them again and try practicing good battery charging options so that you can retain your phone for longer periods and you don't have to buy a new phone because your battery suddenly reduced down to 80 or 85% and you're not getting the proper battery out of your phone. Keep check of your battery health of your phone because that's actually going to improve the longevity of your phone and how long you can keep your phone before you have to buy a new one. So that's also saving you money in the long run. So that's it for this video. I hope you found something helpful in the video, and I hope you're going to start using proper battery charging methods. And if you've been using any of the wrong ones, it's still okay. There's no proper way of charging, like the most optimal way, but they're good practices that help you retain your battery for a longer period. So I hope you use the good practices and not do the wrong mistakes that I did in the past summer. I hope you guys are staying safe. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.